if you need a quick refresher on the mechanics, I do have a hard will mechanics video where I kind of like talk through the mechanics for hard will. So check that video real quick first. It's a very short video, but it talks through a lot of the stuff as well, because I'll be referencing like general hard will mechanics here. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, then you might need a little bit of a refresher. But yes. So I'll be like pausing and starting the video and then fast forwarding as I see necessary, because we're not going to watch the entire boss run, of course, because it's fucking 25 minutes. But it might take longer than 25 minutes because some part might need like a 5-minute explanation, and then maybe I skip forward 10 minutes because it doesn't matter. Yeah, we still have the Raiders on the screen there from when we did the sponsorship. That one's over now. But let's get into it. So, first of all, because of Moonlight, I switch my Moonlight button. Usually my NPC chat is on the Y key. I move it to the W because it's more available for my left hand and I can click it faster to switch dimensions. I don't want to have to move my hand over to the Y key to switch between the two dimensions in Hard Will. As you guys know, in Phase 1, you need to use Moonlight to switch between the blue and the purple dimensions. Otherwise, you can die when the test time arrives. We'll talk about the tests. We'll talk about the test timers. We'll talk about the indicators. We'll talk about how to communicate with your team to make sure that nobody dies there. I'll talk about exceptions. Talk about things that can kill you, and all of that. So ahead of time, big checklist. Healing familiars, very, very useful, very nice for Hard Will. The problem with healing familiars is that it seems that the healing familiars, some healing familiars, not exactly sure which ones, can somehow also heal Will, which means if you keep them out and you don't attack Will enough, or the heal tick comes in at the wrong spot, it can heal Will a little bit, make sure that he's on a non-zero amount of HP, and actually fail your test. So that's the thing to know with familiars. If you do go in with familiars, make sure that once the bars are empty, you take off your familiars and keep hitting him to make sure that he's definitely at 0 HP and he doesn't get healed. It's a very weird, dumb glitch, but it happens with Will, so make sure you keep that into account. Everything else is just half-hour potions, guild buffs, stuff like that. Make sure you're communicating with your team. Teams can typically do two things, either charge domain outside or charge inside. If you charge inside, everyone has to be on the same domain to get the buff. If you charge outside, what will happen is that everyone goes in with the domain buff and can start attacking and start doing a lot of damage, regardless of what color they're on. And as you'll see in a minute, because of the testing of because of the timing of the initial test, that can be a big difference, because the tests are typically every 2 minutes, but the first test is 1 minute and 10 seconds after you enter. So the time frame between entering and the first test is very short. So depending on how strong your team is, you might have to try both situations to kind of see. And then basically the strategy for Phase 1 is either like a 2-2-2, which means you take 2 tests for every tranche of his HP bar. Sometimes people do a 1-2-1, where you go in with domain, able to burst them down. In the second one, have no domain, take 2 steps. And then for the third one, have domain again. 1-2-1 is not usually advisable, because that means your domain will be down once you get into Phase 2. And Phase 2 is kind of like the hardest part of this boss fight. So with all of that in mind, like all of that preparation, that can all come down to deciding, do we do domain outside or inside? So like all of these decisions are all connected to each other. Makes it seem more complicated, but basically just try both scenarios. Try one scenario with your party, see how it goes. If it goes great, then keep doing that. If it goes completely sideways, then try the other one. If both go sideways, then, you know, everyone needs to just work on their mechanics, because somebody's probably fucking up.
I'm not having familiars for first phase because they fuck me up.
Yeah, so that's one person decides not to use their familiars at all. I do take them out, but I think, yeah, remember to unpop them before the
echo, and I will start charging.
So we're charging outside. We did both. One time we charged outside, and it was not ideal. I think we went 2-1-2, I think. But then the time after that, we tried without going in without domain, and we ended up having to do 3-1-2, I think. So that was even worse somehow. So we decided to do domain outside again.
Guild skills?
Wait last minute for guild skills, especially if you don't know for sure that you're going to be clearing it with a wide margin. If you know that it's going to be close time-wise, then wait as long as possible to pop those half-hour guild skills. Those are the biggest ones.
He was the Raptor.
And go.
Dead rapper. Kana has to call when the domain is charged so that the leader can go in. I was like, it's not me, is it? Is that where we're not going in right now?
I had to change my
Important to have the comms. Oh yeah, I didn't do that either. Thanks for. So immediately you're at 2950, so you have 1 minute here. So it's like 10-minute transformation is on. So the first test starts at 2950, so you have 1 minute. Based on the color, you can see where you are here, based on the HP bar color here, or the color of the background. If someone is slightly colorblind, make sure that they're in the map with someone else who can tell the difference between blue and purple, because the blue is purplish and the purple is just a little bit more purplish than the blue. There's not a huge difference in the colors, which you'll see in a little bit. So here you pop all your bursts. Make sure you have transparency of your skills on, so the opacity on, transparency, the opacity down, transparency on, and if necessary, put your damage skin on. Fuck, what's the word? You know, so all the lines, blade, thank you. On blade damage skin, so all the lines just show up on one line. Why? Because the test gets announced by the giant spider eye in the middle of the map. If you have a lot of lines and you just deal a lot of lines, big lines, it might cover the entire middle of the map and you might actually miss the eye because it could be completely covered in numbers. So either put the blade damage skin on or have a unit damage skin so it's a narrow column of numbers so you can see what's going on. Main indicators that we're looking at Will is when he touches his glasses, closes his eyes and turns red. That's the attack. Did you get it? That's the so someone forgot transparency. See, so that's something that you have to fix. Okay, so hard will, this is the moonlight barrier, so this is what we're trying to fill up, and this is what we need to use with an NPC chat to switch to the other dimension. I got it. Hair in my mouth somehow. Nice. So the legs, that's just regular damage. He pushes and inverts you, so that's why you want to like kind of just jump around him. Okay, let's go down the attacks real quick. Okay, so these eyes, pink balls. Pink balls take away your moonlight. Moonlight only charges when you dodge attacks. So you have to like keep dodging everything. Every time you get hit, it pauses your moonlight recovery. So if you keep getting hit, you just don't get any moonlight. So you want to make sure that you dodge everything, especially these, because the other ones pause your moonlight. These ones eat your moonlight. So that's very important. Legs is just regular damage. It's whatever. This is like inversion. It's not very fun. These little balls, extra damage, you know, not too bad. So the thing with your positioning you want to think about is that he randomly teleports to someone in the dimension typically after every 2 attacks. You know, sometimes he bugs out because it's MapleStory, but usually he does 2 attacks and then teleports to someone in the map. So if you stand in a corner, what will happen is he's possibly going to the corner, and what we'll see in a little bit is he has like a giant tornado attack, which is almost the height of the entire map, and it's just like a wall of damage that does 90% HP. You can tank it if you make sure you're full HP, tank it and then heal. But especially in the beginning with newer players, you want to make sure that you don't get too many tornadoes. And if you get a tornado, you want to make sure you get it in the middle so that it either goes left or right, and that the middle is so that you can just jump around him and be safe. If he does it in the corner, there's like almost no safety, so you want to be careful with that. So we'll probably see, as a marksman, of course, I have to be very careful for that because I want to be as far away as possible for max damage. So I have to be super careful not to get too far away. Okay, so he's bound here. You can see that he's bound by the red aura around him. And there's other stages in the game where he gets bound because of the mechanics of the boss as well. And those will be shown by the red aura as well. Those do not count for cooldown timers or anything, but they can be combined. So we'll see that in phase after the tests in phase 1 and also in phase 2, where he will get bound by the game itself. We can attack for a little bit, and then as soon as he starts moving, you can bind him with an actual bind skill, and then basically you'll have a little bit longer time to give bursts. So you see that both of the HP bars are moving. The purple one that we're moving in is a little bit faster because we have a little bit more people here, but there are also some people in the blue dimension. You can see here, I think Cynthia here is in the blue dimension, or she's in dark side, one of the two, but I think she's in the blue dimension. So you can kind of see like the shadows of people in the other dimension. And they're also attacking the bar, but they're not as far. So the main thing is you want to have the bars go at the equal speed. If you hit the test timer, the game will check, are the HP bars at 0? Then the test will start. You have to survive the test, and then you go to the next part of the HP bar. Are they not at 0? Then they will equalize the bars. So which means that if you go into purple and you kill entirety of purple, but you don't do any damage to blue, and you hit the timer when the test is supposed to start, non-zero, it checks the bars, boom, it fills up both of them. It doesn't divide the HP over the two bars. It just, the lowest one becomes as high as the highest one. So you have to divide your damage equally. If you don't do that properly, you could be stuck in this phase forever. So it's important to be communicating with your team to either stop or to move over to the other dimension, etc. But we'll let us do a little bit of damage here, so we get a little bit of burst in here.
I'm stuck.
Yeah, just fuck him up over there.
No, I'm pretty sure.
So try to dodge attacks. You can see I'm getting Moonlight now. I'm getting Moonlight now. I'm getting Moonlight now. Tornado. It's slowly building. I'm not getting hit by anything here. I'm super lucky because I'm not even moving.
Yep.
I don't have the
I don't
spells
have
here, and I
enough
don't know when
skill.
should I change.
He's gone. Probably.
So we changed to blue here, right? Because we don't want to do way too much damage in purple. We know we're going to take at least 2 phases here because our team isn't super strong. So we're going to switch to blue to make sure that blue can catch up.
Do it when I'm binding, right? I mean, I'm flaming. Maybe wasted.
Okay, that's a tornado animation. So we have to look at that one. It's very important. So he shows up,
I'm gonna do it.
teleports, comes back. So here you'll see him.
I mean, I'm
He just does a regular attack, and then the second attack is woof, closes his eyes, touches his glasses. This is the one to look out for. And this is also why, you know, the transparency of familiars was so important, because he was almost impossible to see with big familiars before. So he's going to turn completely red here. Bam. Red glow, and this is where the tornado shoots out. And that thing is quite high. It is possible to go above it, but not all classes can do that. In fact, only a few classes can really safely go over that. So I think he either iframed or did something else.
I flame.
Oh, framing.
Testing 15.
So he's just kind of like appearing, disappearing, not really doing any attacks here. Yeah, okay, that's good. So we look at the HP bars. It's not perfect. So this is the test, 2850. This is when the test should appear. So you have to make sure that before this, you have someone at least in purple, someone in blue with voice commands who can make sure to call out if you see the eye.
Turn off familiars? Oh, no,
No need for that.
Yeah, so you don't have to turn off the familiars yet because we are not at the part where healing him a little bit really matters. We're not at the test part, but we're like about halfway, a little bit over halfway. So if you do about as much damage the second part, the second test as the first one will be fine. But again, remember the first one was only 1 minute. The second one is going to be 2 minutes. Now the tests come every 2 minutes. A little bit more, it's like every 2 minutes and 1 second. The tests slow down a little bit. So as you stay in a stage a little bit longer in stage 1, you'll have to add a little bit of time to the timer. So it'll always be a little bit later. But if you have a pretty smooth run, it'll pretty much be every 2 minutes. Roughly, but sometimes it gets delayed. I think this one gets delayed by like 10 seconds or something for some reason.
Purple.
Okay, so people calling purple. You see that we're in blue. Either you check I'm in blue and I have to go to purple, or if someone calls any color, there should be an eye on the map. If you don't see an eye, you have to switch. If you see an eye, then you stay where you are. And the reason is because there's a giant eye there. Oh, we missed it. But it'll do like basically the animation of the true arachnid reflection, like the big screen crack. And if you are targetable, you will take 100% HP damage. You'll either lose door if you have it. You can iframe it, or you just die, and then that's unfortunate. Then you lose one of your death count. But so you have to make sure you have enough moonlight by dodging attacks so you can switch, etc. So the real thing is, it's very important that you practice normal will a bunch of times. Normal will is very similar, just lower percentage damage on skill, so it's more forgiving. But the other thing is that you are, but there wasn't a test yet. We'll get to that. And the other thing is that you get moonlight super, super fast. So in the beginning, it's super easy. What you basically want to do is you want to get down normal will, and then you want to try to do normal will without, almost without using moonlight at all. And then once you can do that, then you'll be ready for hard will. That's the real practice, basically. You go to the color with the eye. Yeah, with the eye. The other dimension will get killed.
Oh, using his glasses when no one is there. Let's go. Do it every time, please.
Yeah, and then face the wrong way. Okay, so he's doing another push here.
When you do it.
Able to see us. Evidently.
What's the cooldown on like the?
Oh, he's in the corner of the map. You can't see it because my face is in front of it, but I can already tell from the animation he's doing the tornado here. Because I see the reddish glow.
In the
Tornado.
corner.
Time to switch. So you can just use the moonlight there. If you're more confident and more, you know, I've done this run a few hundred times, so I know that I'm gonna have enough moonlight and stuff. So I'm just like, I'm gonna switch. I'm not gonna even attempt it. I could use an iframe. I could probably time my healing properly. I don't have my healing familiars on now, so that would be a little bit more dicey. But I'm just like, I'm just gonna switch like blue, jumping into another tornado.
Oh, why did I switch on the fucking?
On the tornado, beautiful man.
Yeah.
Good timing.
My
Oh
fault.
my god,
Sorry.
that's in the corner.
Oh,
Was pushed.
well,
That's
so
time to
over here.
switch.
So here I'm just gonna jump into it, tank it, take 53,155, and then is that 90% actually? Yeah, roughly. And then just heal right after. Oh, that damage almost killed me because the leg came out right on the same spot.
How much for the
Just-
High frame.
for the test?
Just tanked it. So you see, purple is really close. We have 1 more minute until the test. That's no problem. But blue needs to take a lot of damage. So we want to make sure we get everyone
Purple,
together
I can
in.
blind blue next.
Yeah. So it's very, very important that the Kana keeps track of the bind timers, right? Because both of them have a separate bind timer, but they both have one, right? So it's important to know when can you use bind again and in which dimension. So the Kana has to really stay on the ball here and be like, okay, I can use I can bind in blue in 10 seconds. I can bind purple in 30 seconds. Like they have to know the differences, and also
Let's finish purple.
at all times check with your party before you use domain, because just because you have domain doesn't mean you want to use it, right? You can be like, okay, I can domain in 50 seconds. What are we going to do? Are we going to use it? Are we going to save it? And if we're going to use it, and how long are we going to use it? And then the team has to like communicate on point
Finish
and be like,
purple,
okay,
I'll
we're going to
bind
use it on the
blue.
second bar immediately, for example. Oh yeah, and this also happens sometimes where he just disappears and you just don't see him for like 5 to 10 seconds. That happens sometimes, and a lot of times when that happens, that ruins your
For
tests
blue,
and stuff.
Waiting.
He wasn't even here. So. Okay, so now everyone comes over to blue.
Okay, binding.
Big tornado. He's binding, so we're
Why
gonna
do I
pop
keep
our
fucking
damage.
Bound, bound, bound.
Teleport into the tornado.
Where am I?
Yeah, because
This game
tornado.
doesn't want me alive.
Tornadoes just love you, man.
I don't
Okay,
love
so we have more than enough
Okay, I'll
time left
switch.
over here. So we have like 30 seconds until the test.
Okay.
I'm switching over because I know that I'm gonna have enough moonlight to be able to switch
Now we
again
get
if
a
needed.
familiars.
So now you can see how much I
Yeah.
need.
Yeah, we got it 20 seconds.
Yeah, if you have familiars here,
The next one in one.
if you have familiars here, it's important to turn them off so that they don't heal Will.
Yeah.
But you keep hitting to make sure that he is at 0 HP.
And my stuff is all my burst is down.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I
See ya.
didn't
We
use
can
any
do
burst.
like 2 2 2.
Yeah, probably two.
It's okay.
When is test?
Okay.
In like
Soon,
5
soon,
seconds.
5 seconds. Turn off familiars. And keep damaging.
Purple, purple. So this is the eye. That's it's basically like the summoned eye from the skill, right? So I call purple when I see it, and then hopefully he doesn't show a tornado. If you see him do a tornado, you call it out so that people maybe when they're switching, they can either pop an iframe or push a skill. Because if you, as soon as the eye appears, that's the start of the test. Right, that's the start of the check of the test. And if you die either to the screen crack, to switching, getting hit by a tornado, or during the test, which we will see in a minute when the balls are out.
Go to his right.
Someone's off.
Yep.
Tornado?
Yeah, like if you get hit by that, someone is very low HP here. You see that? Probably got hit by one tick of the tornado here. If you die here, then if anyone dies here during the whole test scenario, you fail the test and you have to wait again 2 minutes until the check for the test hits again. And then that's usually what happens in the beginning. In the beginning of the tests, when you're running with a new party, is that it'll happen sometimes. Like only one person has to fuck up, and then the whole test is gone, and you have to wait an extra 2 minutes. And basically when that keeps happening, and it'll happen more in phase 2 and it's normal in the beginning, but basically what it means is that the first time you get to phase 3, you probably only have like 4 or 6 minutes left, which with your party, which at that time probably only has 4 or 5 people left, is probably not going to be enough. It's just not going to work. So, because it's going to be like a cascade of failure kind of things. But, you know, with more practice and with seeing more exceptions, you will learn more situations. So in this phase, you want to hit this thing in the middle a little bit, just enough for these balls to spawn until you have one yellow ball that creates a shield. And as soon as there's a shield, everyone stops hitting. Make
So-
sure you don't hit it.
Do I charge now?
Don't
or-
have your summons. Don't have summons out. Don't have familiars out. Those kind of guys. Because it will create those balls flying from the ceiling on the other end. And what happens at the end is you switch. At the end, I think you go to the blue dimension, right? But if people in purple are hitting it, it's possible that you switch and that the balls are still falling from the sky and hit you right as you switch and actually kill you. It's possible. So make sure that you don't hit Will too much here. Very important.
Burst is down.
I have my burst in
Okay,
40
so- oh my
seconds.
God.
Yeah, we have to do.
So again, we're timing our bursts together. We're communicating to make sure that we
So
do it
no-
together.
No domain now.
So that crack shows the end of the stage, and you see we're still in blue, right? So
Okay, from
if
here.
people in purple were hitting, you'd see like a bunch of balls now. So we're just doing normal damage here, no burst, no crazy stuff. And here you saw that the HP bar, just to show that, you saw that the HP bar kind of like unlocked, right?
Okay.
From
Like here you see it's still locked,
Yes.
and then 3, 2, boom, there. You see him getting bound, right? The bind animation, not by a player, but by the game. And you see the HP bar being unlocked. So now the damage is being applied.
Oh, he resisted?
Because it's the same color as the eye that shows up, or did you guys switch dimension? As long as you are at the dimension where the eye is at the start of the test, then you're fine. Right after that, you'll get moved into 2 different dimensions again, and then you have like the thing in the middle that you have to hit for the balls. But it doesn't matter what dimension you're in at that
How much
point.
longer was he?
But like I said, it is important though that you don't hit the ball too much, because you will create those damaging
Are
balls
we good
for
to
the
go
other
purple for-
dimension as well.
Yeah, we can go purple.
So again, here we know we're doing 2-2-2, so we want to make sure again that we don't damage blue too much,
For binding purple.
because basically we damage blue first, then we go hard on purple, and then at the end we switch back to blue because we have to make sure that some people are in blue, some people are in purple, and then we can kind of like equalize the HP. So we don't want to go too hard here.
Did you see
Oh,
this
50?
chaos?
Oh, tornado!
Tornado.
I got hit by that, but I healed it up. Still have my door.
5 seconds for bind.
Okay, this is good. Like he's gone, which you usually don't want because you lose a lot of DPS. But I need to take this time to buff up anyway. So it's perfect that he's gone right now.
Enough time to.
And as soon as
Well, the tornado did not come out where he was.
someone was slamming it,
What's going on? I think he's desynced.
Yeah,
He's gone. Oh,
you don't see him? Oh,
okay. So no, the other party is desynced, and the other party is not seeing him right now.
He's here the whole time.
Yeah.
He was-
Okay, he's
he
bound
was
now,
supposed
so
to
we
be,
go
and he
damage.
did it.
Oh, another thing I forgot to mention: if you have the True Arachnid Reflection skill, you cannot use it during this boss fight. So if you are still in the beginning of of running this boss, make sure that you switch it out in your V matrix for another skill. Maybe for lethal strikes, maybe for a special node that gives you extra damage, but just something. Anything is better than that skill. I still have it in there because
Why
I
is it
don't
more
feel like I need to min-max that
We
much, but
already
yeah.
pressed the blue one.
Yeah,
I'll switch
we press
blue.
blue,
and go
so I'm
down.
switching.
I can also double switch.
Oh,
Can
yeah,
you-
not too many. Yeah.
Oh yeah, knockback resistance is very useful for this boss
5
in
seconds.
general. So blue is going to stay a little bit higher, but it's
Someone
fine.
is on purple. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
we're
I-
equalizing
yeah.
here, so we should be fine because we're doing 2-2-2.
Yeah,
Blue,
got
blue,
it.
Blue.
Go,
Tornado, careful.
Tornado.
Heal, Nikki.
Oh,
Tornado. Okay.
I think my door is
So Cynthia teleported there out of the
One
attack.
in the middle,
We
on
thought
blue.
it's gone.
It's not too bad if she would have died there.
Nikki's just easier to say than Cynthia. It's too long. Too many syllables. Start saying
It's
sin.
second.
Just say
Yeah,
sin.
don't use that. No, don't use.
That's just so
Everybody
edgy.
else.
Sin.
Oh, sin. Okay.
Okay,
Are
go
you
to
sinning?
purple.
Yeah, she's definitely sinning. Okay. So now we
Blue,
killed
NATO.
blue.
Didn't
Oh.
do.
Oh,
Oh.
my god.
So that will happen a lot.
Hit, but it
I'm
Didn't-
so spaced out.
Dude,
Yeah, that you switch into a dimension.
When I get hit by the tornadoes, it doesn't detract any HP from me.
You see the damage, you see yourself get hit, but your HP doesn't go down. It's like
Like I just-
whatever.
When you switch dimension,
So I think it's like an EU delay thing.
visible for a little bit.
Yeah, I survived. Sometimes I take them.
Like you have the yellow thing around you.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make you invincible for the eye, actually? Hmm.
Ouch.
I think I'll go back for now.
I don't have tone. I don't have. Ooh, I don't have moonlight.
Yeah, stay there.
Too bad. I already
Ooh.
switched.
Uh,
Attack.
Yeah, I'm attacking.
It's okay. We have a minute.
Or
though.
you kill life frame.
Yeah, so we're again, so the first test 2850, so we're looking at 2850, 2650, 2450, so the next one is 2250. So we have 40 more seconds
Yeah,
at
you got, like,
least
40
here.
seconds.
Domain should be up for the third one, right?
I can charge. It's 1 minute for domain. So
Yeah, so we're trying to figure out the timing here for domain.
But
Do we
yes,
want to
please.
use domain in phase 3? Because it's
Probably not use it
important
then.
that phase
Wanna have
2
it.
that we have domain right when we
Wanna
get in
have it
there.
At the beginning of phase 3, so probably domain list, then I guess.
I think we can kill it with 2. Whether we use domain or not, we
Yeah.
can still kill it in
Zolak, you're in
2.
blue?
I'm in blue.
He doesn't know.
It doesn't.
Okay, test it.
Okay.
I'm in blue. I'm in blue.
5 seconds. Turn off familiars. Keep damaging. Blue, blue, blue.
switching.
Right, so you can see like a flash of the blue there.
Heal, heal.
Oh
Guys,
my
make
God.
sure that
Yes,
everyone
please.
heals up, get the
We
shell.
have no domain right now, right?
Yeah, save
Yeah.
domain for
So
So we're saving domain.
So small burst.
You can see the HP bar, boom.
I can charge on the other side.
30
so
HP bar
Get
unlocks.
domain.
So more of this, more of
Yeah,
this.
and he
middle one.
switched me.
Well, you also get randomly switched between dimensions
purple?
by will, so. I don't have the glitch here, but I think someone had it this run. There's also a glitch sometimes when you switch, that every time you jump, the map actually moves with you. It's very
That's
annoying.
good.
but-
It jumps along with you.
Oh, yeah, he just mentioned it,
Beautiful,
yeah.
dude.
Uh,
time.
Purple is bound. Purple is bound.
Purple is bound.
My headset is about to run out of batteries.
What?
His headset.
Don't worry about it.
His vibrator is almost out.
Might go mute soon.
Hey, can we do one?
I
No,
think
we can.
If everything was perfect here, we probably could have done one.
It's too
Okay.
late
Oh
for
my
now.
God.
It's too late
No,
for
no,
now.
no, no, no. Just, yeah.
It's too late. Yeah, it's too late. It's too late.
I can.
So again, very important just for the positioning. For marksman, it's a little bit annoying. I'm still, I've only done like 2 or 3 or 4 runs or something. 3 or 4, I guess, with this guy. So like positioning is important. If everyone stays in the middle, there's a very low chance that he teleports to me, right? There's like a
Is anyone-
5 and
I'm
6
on
chance
blue.
that he just teleports somewhere in the
I'm
middle.
on blue, yeah.
Yeah, come in, iron blue.
This is like perfect. He's not teleporting away, and he just stays there, which means you
Yeah,
can
if we
deal way
have-
more damage to
Oh
him.
my-
Blue,
Yeah.
switch.
Blue, blue, blue.
NATO.
I've got my fucking familiars.
Yeah,
It's
but-
fine. It was
So you saw, right? Like the HP bar was here, and then as soon as the test hit,
we have
Oh,
so we're calling out
Blue,
blue,
switch.
and then
Blue.
bam. So you see blue, and then the other bar,
NATO.
bam, equalizes up there, right?
got my
So we didn't do any major mistakes there. That was
Yeah,
pretty
that's
close.
It wasn't tested.
It's really annoying if you're
Oh,
like
wait,
in the
oh.
new party and you're like, oh, we could do it, and then you get one side down,
Oh,
and then you go
yeah.
to the other, and you have no damage left,
Yeah, maybe I should put them out. So
and then boom, you have 2 bars.
because I don't need the healing. But yeah, I guess you did somewhere. Till to get the.
All right.
No.
it's gonna
So now we're waiting for the last test,
It's all Hark.
and then we can get to phase 2,
Stay
which
there.
is
Save your lives
everyone's
for phase two,
favorite.
guys. And 3 if you're gonna need them.
I'm fine.
Stop
Three.
dying on purpose. Forehead.
Not. By the way, I lost double. My fucking life count. Let's go.
Okay.
This game doesn't want to make it easy for me. Revive once, lose 2.
Foreshadowing. He lost 2 lives on 1 res there. Foreshadowing.
Fuck this game.
Did we do something?
Okay,
No,
turn
I
off
didn't
familiars.
die. It's like I respawned and I just lost one.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
One extra. That's what I meant.
Knockback inverted.
Blue,
Not
blue,
fun.
Blue.
Okay, switching.
This game is a mess.
Right, we'll stay alive. We stay
Bird.
alive.
When
Get
you
rid
are-
of the bird.
Wait,
Right, so
what?
here he's like bound at the end. He gets a little bit HP back, but that's because so here most parties what they will do is they will charge domain here for phase 2, make sure that everyone has their familiars out. Repop some buffs if necessary, all of that. You have like a little bit of downtime here because in phase 2 that's where the moonlight switches function, and the moonlight has to be used to be able to heal. You cannot heal in phase 2 passively, but you can get healing from familiars. So healing familiars are very, very, very useful here. If you want to use potions, you have to use moonlight first, and then you can heal for a little bit. And potions still have heal cooldown, so it's not like you can just like spam potions while it's active. You can only use like 2 or maybe 3 potions at most during one activation. So again, dodging attacks, dodging the little purple balls, staying in the middle because you'll get knocked back to the sides, and we'll talk about that in a second. If you're super strong and your Kana is like a lot of your DPS, you don't want to charge domain here. You want to go into second phase, bind him, and then charge domain on him, because the Vanquisher Charm actually will deal a lot of your damage.
Pop your skills that cost a lot of HP here, so you
Yes.
don't have to do that.
You want to pop your skills that cost HP in this phase as prep skills, and then heal, then go into phase 2, because in phase 2, healing is blocked,
The
right?
other
So
phase.
if you have to.
Demon Avenger things.
Yeah, Demon Slayer more. Slayer burst costs like I think 90% HP or something. Just to push all the
Webs.
buttons.
So here, like, so we have webs on the ground. You can see this one because it's behind my head, lol. But it's because of webs here. The purple webs, they're basically like the poison clouds in HMAG. You want to fight them in the middle, not in the corners, all right? Very dangerous. They only show up in like the bottom of the map, but if you walk over them, you take 100% HP in this mode. Dark side, you can just walk through them because, you know, balanced skill. But everyone else, super, super dangerous. And if he knocks you back, you're also inverted. A lot of times, you're inverted and you want to walk away from the web, but because you're inverted, you actually will walk into it. Sometimes, if you get knocked back, the best thing to do is just to not touch any movement skills, but only press attacking skills. So you don't accidentally walk into the webs until you see the icon disappear, and then move back into the middle to make sure that you're safe. So he's bound here. I'm standing in a very bad spot. I think I'm going to get all the familiar heal here. Whoop.
By that I mean, oh, there.
And Zolhark is
Almost dead, and then all the
prepping all of his
healing
skills.
came in.
He's prepping.
Solkar's just standing in the corner of the map.
Decide to pop something.
You're popping all
As long
your
as he's not dying, then
Oh, legs.
it's good enough.
Okay, so
Oh, I'm gonna get
What?
pushed.
so make sure there's like a sweet spot, right? How big his attack is. So you want to make sure if you're very close to him, you will get pushed back, but you won't get pushed into the webs. If you're standing like here, you'll get pushed into the web. If you stand on the edge and you still get hit, you'll get pushed through the web, but you'll still have hit immunity from the actual push so that the webs don't kill you. So there's like sweet spots where you can stand. For me, I stand pretty far, pretty close to the web, but pretty far away from him. So I stand out of his
Super
range of his push,
Fucking dear.
because I get more final damage the further I am. So I know that the web is here. I'm outside of the web range, but I'm also out of his push range right now.
Webs.
So there might-
I'm not moving
timing.
because I'm reversed and I'm scared.
there I got reversed.
That's good.
This is kind
one
of
more web,
dicey.
one more
I
web.
should be.
Yeah.
There's a
So there's going to be a test in a little bit. The first test just starts whenever you hit the 0 on the HP bar. So that one is not time limited. But as soon as the first one starts, it sets the timer for the next test. So then you have to wait the 2-minute time frame again. So it's important that the webs on the ground are not combined. It's not super important. Like once you get more experience, you know how to do the tests with even if there is a spider web, and it's possible. As soon as somebody fails the test, you're going to have tests with spider together, and then it's important to know. Basically, we'll get to the second test in a bit, but if you can avoid having spider legs during the test, then that's preferable.
Webs, yeah.
This spider also does a lot of damage, so try to jump over that one.
Well,
He's gonna
that's a
die
good
here.
question.
I remember that because there's too much damage here.
Too much damage here, bro.
I don't know why I still. This is from 2 days ago, but I still remember almost everything I said. Like I'm a lot of things that I mentioned so far like happened right after that during the run.
Okay, face it, face it, face it.
Okay, I'm trying to stay alive here. I think I get my healing here. So this is like the first part of the test. So it's 5 sequences of 3 legs. If there is nothing visible here in the bottom of the map, you have to dodge the spider legs. Most people do the test like this. If you stand in the left corner and hug the left corner, press all the way left, then you can't get hit by anything. So if there's nothing visible in the map, you just hug the corner and you're fine. And the reason that we don't want webs is because when you do see something, when you see a crack in the bottom of the map, you have to get hit by the legs to be safe. So you have to do the opposite. And if there's a spider here and spider web here behind my head, behind my horribly placed head, then some classes will be able to just walk through the web and they'll be fine. But a lot of classes will have to either iframe or which they may or may not have, or they will just fail the test, then die. And it's the same thing like in phase 1. If you die, if one person dies, the whole test fails and you have to wait another 2 minutes to get to the next one. So here we're trying to get to the corner. So that's a sequence of 3. of 3 webs. We check again. Crack.
Crack.
So we call out crack. We go to the right side, and then you stand where the legs are.
Oh, the delay.
And there was a lag spike there, and that's why some people got hit, because these people know their tests. But you start moving to the right, and as soon as that leg hits, as soon as the animation goes up, you start walking more to the right, to the next one.
Lagging.
You stop. As soon as it hits, move to the next one again. This is gonna go wrong. This is gonna go horribly wrong if you start doing normal will. If you start doing hard will, it should already be able to do this. But if you start doing normal will as practice, as a precursor to be able to do hard will, this is gonna go horribly wrong for about 2 to 3 to 4 times, depending on how good your party is at learning this. The first run is going to be absolutely horrible. The second one, most people are going to get it. 1 or 2 people are going to fuck up. And in the third run, the people who fucked up before are going to get it. And then people who get it right before are going to fuck it up again once or twice. But again, all it takes is one person to fuck up one test, and you have to wait another 2 minutes to get back. And you can tell we're now already almost at the halfway timer of the boss. 2 people fuck up a test, you're down 4 minutes, and then suddenly there's a lot of pressure on the third phase. So that was the third leg. So after this, we go rush back into the corner, but we see crack again. So one thing that can go wrong is if you see crack, and after crack, people are like, oh, I got to go back to the corner. And then crack hits again, and then maybe their mobility skill that they use to get to the corner is on cooldown. So be very careful. You want to get to the corner, but not use all of your resources to get there, because sometimes it's crack again right after, right? It's like, remember, it's 5 patterns in a row. So as long as it's not the 5th one, make sure that you can be ready
right as we were walking towards the crack.
Whenever the next one is. So we're gonna crack again. Make sure you call out immediately. That one was a little bit more to the left than we thought. So it's one more here.
Some of the lag.
It was no crack, 3 cracks, no crack. So this is the last one. So when this one is over, he gets his bind animation again, right? So he's bound now. We can hit him, but we can't damage him yet until that bar frees up. There we go. Bar frees up. And then again, right after the test, get out of that fucking corner, because he's going to be spawning webs again, spider webs, and you don't want to be standing here when those fire. Don't be me and refresh Mihai link during the test so you can't move. Yes. So Mihai link for the classes without knockback resistance, because this one was clean, but sometimes those purple balls, not the pink ones, but the purple balls float around there, and the purple balls can hit you. And what happens when the purple balls can knock you off your course just enough so that the spider legs hit you. If the spider legs hit you and you don't have knockback resistance, you'll get knocked back, get knocked off course. They don't one-shot you, so you can get hit by one, use Moonlight and heal, and then get hit by another one. That's possible. However, once you start missing your rhythm, you might get knocked off, die. But you want to have your knockback resistance on, but you want to refresh it when everyone's like, wait for another web. That's when you want to press your Mihai skill, because you want to make sure that it's on for the whole test, and that you don't have to start it during the Mihai test, because Mihai skill has a huge activation delay. And if the first one is crack or not crack and you're standing in the wrong position, you could already start with getting hit. So that's important. So here we're just doing a damage, and it's important. The test usually, we can double check, but the test usually takes about 40 seconds. So it should be about 1 minute and 20 seconds until the next test starts. But it's very important that somebody keeps track of the start of the test, because again, remember it's a 2-minute timer from the start. Okay, so it started here, 16:09, 16:08. So the test is on here, right? 40 seconds later. So then around 14:09, 14:08 is when the next test is going to start. The next test will start spontaneously. So you have to be... won't start spontaneously. But if you lower his HP bar down to 0, then at that time it'll start. So what you want to make sure is that you don't quite kill him until you get to that point, so that you can wait until just past 14:09, and then kill him, so that we can desync the webs from the test, right?
Need to sidestep. Oop, nope, not max damage.
I lost that ages ago. Give and take though.
Yeah, so here we talked about the timer. So 14:09, so we're safe here. We can decide when to test him now. Oh, 14 minutes. Okay, cool. Ooh, I'm gonna get pushed. I'm gonna die here, I think. Oh no, I got all the familiar healing. I'm having a pretty good run here. I haven't died yet.
60 heal ticks.
Webs.
Stat.
Think we can
Phase after
finish.
webs.
Well, this is also a thing you can do, is if you just in the middle and then up jump
Yeah.
over him, you can dodge a lot of the attacks. I got inverted, uninverted, inverted, uninverted. Wait, you still got hit by that? That was a late hit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so he's pretty low. We just had webs, so we're gonna finish him off now,
Yeah,
I
he's
think.
gonna web.
Crazy.
He's gonna web right here.
Oh, he webbed, yeah.
I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm very much. Okay.
Up jump
Just
technique.
up jump over all the damage. That's my strategy.
Dude, I'm a ninja here. I dodged all of those balls.
Very
Face, 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 face.
Okay, heal. Okay, face him, face him.
Cannot function, so.
Test,
Okay, now you see this.
Right.
So as soon as you see this message, like the start of the test, again, that's the check to see if anyone dies here, then, you know, you fail the test. So we do this one, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3,
Charge it.
and then this happens again. So again, between the phases, we want to charge a domain here because phase 3, that's when the function of the Moonlight changes again. In phase 3, you can heal again like normal. Moonlight activation makes it so that you get an aura around you, this yellow aura that you can see around me here. And you can walk through the webs that will appear on the map. And you can clean up to 2 webs with 1 aura. It's important because if you walk through a web without having the aura on, or you touch the web at all, you get sealed, and it's like a power seal. You can't just use an all cure. It makes it so that you can't use any skills for a little bit, which lowers your DPS, which is annoying, but it also makes it so that you can't use any movement skills. And movement skills are necessary for the attack pattern of the spider that we'll get into. It's basically stay and move attack pattern. So if it's a stay, you cannot use any movement skills like teleport, flash jump, those kind of things, big dashes, those kind of things. If it's move, you have to be using one of those skills when he hits you. So it's kind of like the test in phase 2 where it's like either hit it or like get hit to take damage or get hit to not take damage, right? It's kind of the same with stay and move. Some people call it white eye and something else because his eyes also change color. Usually I like to say just stay or move based on whether he has 2 different modes and we'll see it. One is where he kind of like lunges back and he kind of like lays flat in the spider form, and the other one when he goes up really high. So that's like the biggest way of telling the difference. Again, if you have a lot of lines of damage, you might just block him out. So blade damage skin can be your friend in the beginning to make sure that you can see the difference between the 2.
Left, right.
So we're charging domain here. You can see him transforming into his phase, into his 3rd phase. I'll make sure I have all my. So you don't want to pre-pop too many buffs here. You can, but a lot of times when you get into phase 3, he'll immediately do a stay or move. And if he does move immediately and you're loading, if you're loading super slow, you probably immune it with lag. But if you're losing super fast, you can move. But if you're like in between, sometimes you just die instantly. So if you already have all of your buffs on, you actually lose a little bit of time on your buffs. So that's like something that you have to get to know. Freudian slip stuff.
Who's doing better?
I think he starts with this with a poison and then a stay. I think poison. So poison is important. You just call out poison, and then whoever sees that they're in the green poison moves somewhere, moves to a side of the map. You can call left or call right. But you just move somewhere, and everyone just moves away from the poison. That's important. It's important to be not forceful, but to be direct. No, to be concrete. Just like pick a side and go to that side. Like that's the best thing. Don't be like a left or right or left or right and then jump around. You'll just kill your entire team. Just pick a side and stay to that side, and that's what you do. Yeah, like being. Trying to be nice because other people are standing there is not the way to go. Just say left, and then it's other people's job to get the fuck out of the way. Yeah, be decisive, be committed. Yeah, like commit to a side, and then other people have to go. The only way that it can fuck up is if you say one way, you go the other way, and then you keep jumping around. That's how you kill your team. If you pick a side, then you did nothing wrong. If other people stand on top of you while you have poison, then that's on them. And it'll happen. You'll get hit. And again, here, his basic attacks, when he hits you, he inverts you. So sometimes you'll get like inverted to walk into the poison. And then as soon as you invert your keys, he uninverts you. And then you walk back into the poison. And then sometimes you die. Like that's not the poison's fault. That's not really your fault. That's just the boss that's going to do that. So here you see all the webs, right? And that's the one we want to clear with Moonlight. But you start with 0 Moonlight. So for this one, it's very important that you get through, and this is kind of why phase 3s fail in the beginning. 1, because you don't have enough damage. 2, because you don't have enough time. But 3, because you don't have enough people. If people die out in phase 2, and it will happen on your first few runs, you don't have enough people who are accumulating Moonlight. And if you don't have Moonlight being generated fast enough, you can't cleanse enough. And if you can't cleanse enough, the whole map kind of like, and you've seen this if you've seen videos of people soloing Hardwell, the whole map just becomes one giant spider web. And then as soon as you get hit by one, you can't use attacks anymore. And if you can't use attacks anymore, you can't hit him to gain Moonlight. And if you can't gain Moonlight, you can't cleanse the map anymore. So you're kind of just fucked.
Left side.
Binding. Bound.
So he's bound here. You can see again by the red aura around him, right? So this is where we want to do all the bursting. Okay, for me, I have to stand as far as possible away from him, which means I have to stand like here. I want to be like a few webs away from the side, but most people you can just stand in the middle and just be fine. We just want to be away from the poison. And by the way, if you're in poison, you take damage over time, but you take damage over time if you stop hitting. You deal 100% more final damage, so that's really good. Other people near you take damage, and if you die, you spread the poison to somewhere else, and you leave a poison image behind you. If you stop hitting, you also die. Skills the fucking
G-buff.
Yeah, also.
So I moved into the use the moonlight, right? You can see with the red indicator means that the moonlight is currently active, and then move into the webs to clean them a little bit, so I can have a little bit of movement around. I get very frustrated by the webs in this run, just as a disclaimer.
Without poison.
So this is a stay. So this is like yellow eyes or something, I think people call it. But this is like where he lunges back and then he's gonna smack. So this is the stay, means don't use movement skill here.
Stay.
So he like slaps, nobody uses movement skills, nobody dies, everyone's fine. I cleaned the and usually his stay and his move alternate, so that's very important to know. It's not 100%, but it should be. So you can kind of rely on it, but always, you know, stay on your tippy toes. So if you just had a stay, it's important after a stay that the sides are clear, because if someone gets knocked back, knocked into a web, gets sealed, the next is a move, that person dies, right? Look at me saving Gutsuck here. So I cleansed the webs right before he got knocked into them. He didn't get sealed here.
Oh, I just
and right
move.
And right here was a
I think
move.
you got lucky there, Stuck.
still
I was
fine.
just clearing the corner just as you came in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the barrier
Person?
too.
So Stuck
Left side, left
was able to live there. I think if I didn't clear there, Stuck got hit in there, he would have died there, I think. So stay again. So we know the next one that's coming is move. Oh, Zahar got hit by too much. How can you dodge the legs here? The regular legs, they're just gonna hit you.
This corner with me.
move.
Yeah, so that's like I am moving, but there's like a hitbox in between the move and the stay if you get uninverted. For example, like if you glide as a demon, that counts as move skill as long as you are using your arrow key to move. If you just jump and hold glide, it doesn't count, but if you jump and glide to a side, that counts as moving, and then you won't get hit. But what happens if you're inverted and mid-attack you get uninverted and then zigzag back, that if that's at the wrong time, it can hit you as well, and then you can also
Dude, I
die
was
to that.
jumping.
What?
Who cares if I'm reversed?
It's okay, dude.
I did not get any moonlight there for like an hour, by the way.
Next is stay.
That means you're getting hit by skills, dude. You need to dodge better. Okay, so I'm getting moonlight, clearing those two
Yeah, I
webs.
cleared the corner, so it should be good.
Dude, stop saying what I'm gonna say. So flash them. So that's the leg that's gonna hit, right? So this is like the rhythm you have to get used to.
Move.
So you see him go. No,
clear the
still on the
corner, so
ground.
it
See
should
him
be
go up. So he's go up,
Move.
and then you wait a little bit. You flash jump, and as soon as he hits like white, you need to be moving, and that's when the attack comes out, and that's when the attack misses. Someone else gets hit here and fucking dies, because they didn't count as we're moving, for some reason.
Poison.
So it's important for this, and I didn't mention that before, but it's important for this and also for the phase 2 that you don't look at what everyone else is doing, because other people may look delayed or may look like they're walking in front of you and that they're getting hit or miss. Just focus on your own movement, because there will be desynchronization and stuff like that. So be very careful that you don't get too distracted. If you had an option to pick which domain out of Demon Slayer or Shadower, which one? Probably Slayer out of those two.
Right, left. This one.
Inside.
Center.
See, and then here
Oh, no.
you can mix up your lefts and your rights, but as long as your character doesn't move and stays in one spot, this is not a problem. If you say left but you actually go to the right, then just stay there. don't jump around again, because as soon as you jump around again, the other person will have jumped because they realize you just said the wrong thing, and then you're crossing each other again, and then you kill your teammate. So even if you get it wrong once, it's better to get it wrong once than to get it wrong once and then right, which is wrong twice, basically.
Move.
I can't move.
So I was
I need
sealed.
someone to cleanse the corner with me, guys, because I'm getting fucked in there.
It looks pretty clean.
I tried to cleanse
Never mind.
the
Yeah, but-
right
yeah.
side.
But when I got hit, I...
Say.
Yeah, so it's really important. It's really annoying because you would think that since I'm here, the first web that would spawn would be here, so I'd have a little bit of warning before it would come. But sometimes this one spawns first, and then I get sealed, and it's really,
I need one safe
really
tempo.
frustrating. Yeah, see, now the little one gets spawned,
25.
and I don't have Moonlight yet, but I know that as soon as I get Moonlight, I'm gonna go over there and cleanse it. I think I move a little bit to the left here. It's probably good.
On the middle. So.
I should be moving because I'm getting hit by everything. You see, I'm not building any
No, stay,
Moonlight.
stay.
Move
It
away.
alternated. What? Oh, the web. The leg got you? Move!
I don't know, that was too
Poison.
much.
Oh, I got hit by
Oh,
a
it
damage
took a
tick thing.
poison.
Binding,
Yeah.
respawn. I'm binding. On the next. Now it's stay. I will
But again,
bind
the healing familiars are paramount here.
and binding.
So the thing that happens with Zalhark here, why he's dying so much, I think is because he gets hit by his attacks too much and gets pushed around. I am pretty fucked here as a marksman because I have to be far away. So I have to be either way over in this corner or way over in that corner. But as a character that doesn't get damage from range, you want to be right on top of him. And whenever he does an attack, you want to dash to the other side and just move through him. That's the way that you want to... You basically want to treat him like a helix, like a hard lux or a helix face. Always just dash to the other side. When you see him doing attack, go to the other side. You don't. If you can avoid getting inverted, it's worth losing a little bit of DPS to not get inverted,
Bound.
because that's gonna get you killed.
I took a poison stack while I was standing where I was staying, and the poison person was on the middle.
Wait, let's see if that was true or if I was bullshitting.
Bound. The next. Now it's stay. I will bind next. Is stay.
Wait, there's not even a poison person.
And binding. Bound.
I took a...
Wait.
Oh, the web. The leg got you? Move!
I don't know, that was too
Poison.
much.
Oh yeah. So because I jumped and because I jumped back, I got the poison stick here. The poison person is staying here, and I got the poison tick right there because of EU delay. Very beautiful. That's what I was talking about.
Oh, me, I'm going up.
Okay.
I don't know.
Move!
Move.
Oh,
How did
poison.
I... Poison?
Poison.
So Zalhark
Oh, me.
Zalhark said that he went up, but I think he didn't activate Moonlight first. Damn, no, whoa, tier 3. Holy shit, hang on. What's the tier 3 emote? Is that the Scardor high emote? Thank you for the tier 3, dude. Holy shit, that's so generous. Thank you. And congrats on your silver badge as well, Noah. You're the best, okay? Thank you. If you're going up, that's fine, but make sure you activate Moonlight first, then jump up so that you clear a web and don't get sealed. Because what happens here is Zalhark goes up, but he didn't use Moonlight. So you can see here that he's standing still and not doing anything is because he's sealed right here. And now move happens, which actually what he can do is he can down jump. Down jump actually counts as move as well, and this is what some mages use to survive because teleport is usually a very short duration with a short hitbox, and it makes it harder to survive the move attacks. And sometimes what's better is to go up and then to go teleport up and then down jump is a safer way to actually survive because it's a longer immunity box. So that's what Zalhark could have done here as a chance to survive, because now he just walks off and then he creates the poison spot. I jump, but now I jump into the poison, but I also got hit because I attacked. I think I moved too late there. Conquest, thank you very much for the Prime sub as well, dude. Appreciate it. Welcome. It's amazing content. Thank you. I'll be putting it on YouTube later for review. Just stop crying, dude. You just you sucked.
Left, chaos. That's not-
It's fine. Like we are over halfway. We have 9 minutes left. We have 7 lives. Nobody's really low. I think 2 people are kind of low right now. But these are 2 people who died out last time or died out immediately in the phase last time. So there's
look
already
to
a
the future.
a significant improvement from the last one. And I like to show this run that's not perfect at all, and that's pretty long, so we can see a lot of situations. So I'm clearing the side again. I think the next is... I don't know what the next one is. I wasn't paying attention. Move.
Move.
I moved a little bit early there, so I flash jumped again, just to make sure.
Yeah, that's good.
He's going to push me into this web,
As long as you're
100%.
As long as you're not doing worse, yeah.
This is very risky.
Poison?
One more web is going to spawn here, and I'm going to get
Left,
sealed.
Side, left.
Oh, someone cleared from to my left. That's really nice.
Plants.
Move.
No.
Nick, Cynthia went straight up here, so I was able to jump underneath her. That was nice.
Move forehead.
Zalher
I like
gets
that
to
Nick-
practice
that
it more.
Cynthia went up. That's the best.
40 seconds for domain.
Because I was jumping right underneath you.
Yeah.
Move.
Why does it keep doing move? Where does the stay? How
He
about-
mutes the stay because
See,
he's
there was
dead.
the stay. Boom. So now the next one is move again.
He's dead every time. Stay happy.
Yeah, yeah, you're dead.
Poison.
Poison, right?
Right side.
Careful, move's coming.
Move.
Oh, it was reversed.
Oh, I got
So
poisoned.
you got fucked, reversed. Yeah, so someone else gets poisoned, right? So
Stay.
as soon as someone dies with poison, you gotta
Stay's,
get
like,
super
so quick
careful.
after that. Ooh, poison damage. Go away.
I was taking a lot of damage here because I stopped attacking, stopped hitting him. So that's the one thing also, when he goes for stay or move, he becomes untargetable for a little bit. So for poison, that becomes a little bit more dangerous. You might take more damage. And also, if you're bursting, sometimes you want to hold your damage a little bit to make sure that you don't
Next one is
you
stay,
don't
next
have a
one
lot
is
of
stay,
damage
I'm
that
turning domain,
gets fucked.
turning domain.
Okay, Kana's charging. So Kana wants to charge right after a move so that you can,
Poison?
during the
Poison,
stay, you
binding,
can
and
keep
poison
charging
middle.
and then bind it
And
right when
down,
it's charged.
down.
Okay, so now I'm popping all my shit.
Oh, please let me get my burst off before a fucking web spawns on.
I was just gonna say
Oh
that.
my God,
I hope a web doesn't spawn on me here.
His HP is
But we're
going
doing
down.
a lot of
That's
damage
good
here.
shit.
Poison is really good,
Unbound
right?
removal?
If somebody with a lot of damage.
Stay.
Oh yeah, so I call unbound here. So you see when he's bound here, you will see that his body starts being able to move again, and that's when you call unbound, so that everyone knows like, okay, he's gonna do stay move again. So right
His HP is going down.
right here, you see him moving again, right? Then now he's unbound. He still has this area, but he can
Unbound,
start
come on.
doing attacks again. Bam, and he immediately starts doing
Stay.
this. So it's
Stay.
good to mention everyone. Yeah, we're finishing this right now.
That's his move.
Will there be any
you
job
don't
balancing
find
changes in
something.
upcoming patch? Not sure, but we can ask the live stream when they go live, and
Move,
apparently right now.
Ooh,
Oh, I dodged it.
I'm so scared.
Good job.
I have like full moonlight, so it doesn't
I
matter.
have one life, by the way,
Yeah, same.
to not stress myself.
One life.
Oh, this side, right.
Right, stay there.
Nikki,
Just go away.
Green
Just
side.
iframe, dude.
Move. Say.
I don't have iframes. I already used them.
Move, move, move.
Move.
Poison. Right side.
What?
Left side.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, it shifted.
Can we
Is it
survive
fine?
20 seconds?
I don't know.
My iframe is there.
Stay.
Let's see, stay and move. How much?
Oh
for
no,
your-
I got
your
sealed.
iframe?
Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god.
15.
Move.
I'm cleansing this.
We have one person on one life
Poison.
who's
Poison,
trying to not die.
Okay.
So we just switch
Poison
positions, and
other
I'm gonna
side.
get inverted, inverted,
Solid.
inverted into uninverted
I
into.
can't get inverted into you over and over and over. Did you see my character just move back and forth and back
Why
and
did I move? Oh,
Unfortunate.
no!
He,
Zigzagging.
the arc
Yeah.
dies out here, very
fucking
close.
slaloming.
So close.
Stay.
Oh.
I died out.
So
I'm
that's a
watching.
lot closer
Yeah,
than
they
last
go
time, dude.
Much better.
Scardor.
Last time you died like 30 seconds into
Poison?
the phase
Yeah, I
3.
survived for like how much? 7 minutes in this phase?
Yeah, almost 7 minutes. Yeah. Move.
Move.
I'm getting there.
Poison damage.
Okay,
What?
fine, fine.
First poison here.
I took 2 poison ticks. Look where the fuck I am.
Is everyone okay?
Yeah,
I
I
can,
have
I
to
can
try.
buy.
Sounds like I'm mentally not okay with that
Just
reaction, but
wait for the stay.
Okay.
The move. So yeah,
Oh.
I'm responding
There
now.
we go.
Yeah, we can.
whenever I Raid Shadow Legends was behind my head. Oh, I was doing a sponsorship. We finished it with 60 plus, so we hit it.
Yep.
Oh, this is the HP. This is a volume meter.
Yes, correct.
All right, so we're just finishing it up here.
Good. That means you're optimizing.
Holy symbol, drop rate
Good
coupon.
luck.
Good job, Sin.
I did it. Yay. I lived.
Cynthia survived.
Yeah, I was already so
Um,
close.
Yeah,
So this is not part of my introduction at the beginning, but note to people who made it all the way to this part of the video, I guess. In the beginning, it's also important to make sure that when it comes to looting, that you have a loot order or some kind of agreement on what happens with the books, right? You want to get the spell books that drop. There's specific class ones. Do you want to make it so that anyone gets any book, but there's just an order, and when someone gets a book, the next person gets? Or do people get their specific book? Or is it just free for all? Whatever you decide to do with your party, just make sure that you have that clear and concise before you start the run. The easiest thing to do is, if you have classes of different main stats, that you get pet ignore on your pet, or that you just turn off pet loot altogether. But pet ignore is the easiest, and if you have like 1 or 2 classes who only have, or the only people with that as their main stat, they can just loot, and then the other people just wait to loot, for example. The best thing is probably to put all the books on the ignore list, yeah. But make sure that you talk about that before you go into the boss fight. Okay, well, this was not like, I didn't really super prepare, but this is more like a little bit of mechanics, a little bit of like what's happening in the run, a little bit of play-by-play, like where do you move, where do you stay, what do you do? Yeah, I hope this was informative to the people who are trying to do hard Lucid. If you're trying to do normal Lucid as well, this can also be a good thing to listen to. I plan on doing this, one of these as well for Damien, for Lotus, from solo perspective, long run, and for normal Lucid, first runs with like clearing golems and that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments which one you would like to see. And yeah, I hope it was informative for you. And thanks for watching.